Hey, what's going on, everyone? Bass here, and welcome back to my weekly series, the series where I do a 7-round mock draft for the Green Bay Packers every Thursday, and this is version 3.0. Now, I want to start off by saying this video is pre-recorded about a week earlier than when it will be posted. I am currently on vacation as you guys watch this, so like I said, this is a week before, so if things change, like say the Packers strike a long-term extension with Davante Adams, I don't know that yet, technically speaking. So the Packers' needs are still the same as last video, as of right now, as I'm recording this. They still obviously have a need at defensive lineman. That won't change. A need at edge, in my opinion. As I say every video, I don't believe Preston and Z will both be here. There's a need at receiver, obviously, with, the free agents of Davante Adams, MVS, Allen Lazard, all three being free agents in some way, shape, or form. And then also there's a need at right tackle, or tackle in general. The uncertainty with Dave Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, and then Billy Turner being older and on the last year of his deal. So without further ado, let's bring up this screen and get this draft started. So I did introduce some trades the last episode, so that is definitely on the board. But I'm going to let this ride out for right now, unless anyone falls. Like, I was playing around with this by myself recently, and like David Ojabo fell to like 21. In that case, I just tried trading up, or 20 or something like that. So if that's the case, I'll do it. But generally speaking, I'm never going to be trading up into the top 10. I might do it as like a specific episode just to try. But the top 10 in this mock, we have Evan Neal, Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton, McQuonu, Charles Cross, Penning, 3 tackles in a row there. Thibodeau all the way down to 7. Wow. Jermaine Johnson at 8. Malik Willis, the Broncos at 9. Seems like that happens a lot now. Derek Stingley at 10 to the Jets. And Traylon Burks is still on the board. Jamison Williams. Now, as I'm recording this, the wide receivers just ran their 40-yard dashes yesterday. I don't know if it's necessarily updated, if this board's updated yet, because, guys like Watson and Pierce and all them and Velus Jones, they ran fast 40s, will probably, jump up on the board, and they might not be there yet on this board. They might not be updated yet. So keep that in mind as well. But I'm going to go ahead and resume this. Traylon Burks goes at 11. He goes 11 here to the Commanders. Still very weird saying that. Sauce Gardner to the Vikings. It's a really good pick. I would hate that. Matt Corral to the Browns. Trayvon Walker to the Ravens. Andrew Booth to the Eagles. See, Java is sitting here. That's what I mean. I mean, if he falls to 20, I'm gonna do it. But he's gonna definitely get. Yep, Eagles take him next pick. I figured they'd do that. Let's just go then to pick 20 here. Jamison Williams at 18. Jamison Williams, man, I talked about this a little bit in the last episode where, he'd be a redshirt rookie, which a lot of time Packers receivers are. So, that's an interesting guy there. Like, he's a very, very good wide receiver. I just kind of hate the thought of not being able to use your first round selection at all. Like, obviously, sometimes they don't play just because, they're not ready, or there's a player ahead of them. But in this case, the Packers do have a wide receiver need, so it'd be kind of hard to justify that pick of Jamison Williams. But Kenny Pickett goes to the Steelers, of course. At 20, Kenyon Green, who we drafted in my last one, goes to the Eagles at 19. And then we have Trent McDuffie going to the Chargers here at 17. Linderbaum's still on the board. Packers don't need a center, but he great value here at 21. Garrett Wilson's up here. Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis. I think I want to try to settle defensive line early in this mock, because I feel like I've kind of been neglecting that when that's one of the Packers' biggest needs. So hopefully, I think if one goes soon, I might try to trade up to grab the other, but we'll see how this goes. Nakobe Dean, Linderbaum to the Raiders, Karlaftis, Cameron Thomas. Okay, so it looks like as long as one isn't picked here and the next one, Devontae Wyatt goes. Okay, so Jordan Davis, might go here, but we still have DeMarvin Leal and PERRION Winfrey. Hopefully, Jordan Davis falls here to 28. I don't think it's justifiable. I mean, I guess you could trade up a spot or two, but I think you kind of just trust that he won't go. And let's see if we close that out. He doesn't. Perfect. Okay, so Drake London does go. Zion Johnson still on the board. Devin Lloyd, Jordan Davis, Chris Olave, which, again, I don't know if this board is updated. I think he will go before 28. Even though it's not as fast as his first unofficial 40, I still think he'll go before 28. But I drafted him on my first mock draft, and like I said, if he's sitting here at 28, Packers, I mean, they should run that up. But also Jordan Davis is here at 28. I think he would be great in the Packers defensive line. I think they need a guy like this. He's just an absolute beast. So even PERRION Winfrey is good as well. He kind of more of a 4-3 guy, but I mean, I guess Jordan Davis kind of is too, but he can play in either. Yeah, but with this pick, I'm looking like I'm going to go Jordan Davis here. Yeah, I am indeed going to draft Jordan Davis with this draft pick. Out of him and Wyatt, he is the better run defender. I mean, he's 6'6", 340. This dude's an immovable object when it comes to the run game, which that's what the Packers need. I mean, TJ Slayton could be that. I mean, but Jordan Davis is a lot more talented than TJ Slayton. But if they added someone like Jordan Davis next to Kenny Clark, that would just help their run defense so much. So with this pick, at pick 28, I am indeed drafting Jordan Davis out of Georgia. All right, so now it is our pick again at pick 59, and a few guys on this board that I really like. Daniel Falele out of Minnesota, the unit, 6'8", 380, would be the future at right tackle. I really like him. He would just be an absolute force there at right tackle. Isaiah Likely, Kingsley Enagbare, Trey McBride, Sky Moore. There's a lot of guys here that I do like here at 59. I'm leaning Falele because I think the Packers do need to draft an offensive tackle early. And in this draft, taking care of the trenches with Wyatt first, and then also Falele second would be awesome. Excuse me, Jordan Davis first, not Devontae Wyatt. Yeah, I was thinking about going to Enagbare here, getting our edge. But I'm going to go Daniel Falele with this pick. I really like him, and I think he's a steal here at 59. So in this pick, I am drafting Daniel Falele, right tackle out of Minnesota. All right, so I'm going to try to trade up with Dallas from 92 to 88, giving up a 7th here. And you'll see why in just a second after I send this. And basically, it's to grab an edge rusher who fell a little bit at 88, and that is Drake Jackson out of USC. 6'4", 250 pounds. He fits the 3-4 exactly. I think he has a lot of talent, and getting him at pick 88 would be a steal, in my opinion. If we look at his PFF profile here, he had an 87.7 pass rush grade in 2021, 19.5 pass rush win rate, which is really high, an overall grade of 82.2, 6 sacks, 3 hits, 17 hurries. I think he would fit really well as a rotational edge guy for the first year for the Packers, and then obviously be the future at edge next to Rashawn Gary down the line. So I am going to indeed draft him here. That's exactly why I traded up. So with this pick, I am going Drake Jackson out of USC. All right, so for pick 130, I'm actually going to try to trade down here. There's a few guys farther down the board that just fit better a little bit later on, and there's no one at the top here that I really think I want to draft. We also pick at 139, so I'm going to try to jump back into the 6th round, giving up a 7th for the 6th, and then the 4th here at 132, 159 with the Chargers, and we'll see if they accept that. And they do. So if we look at I'll pause it real quick to show you. See at the top of the board, we have a lot of running backs, and linemen and corners, which, I mean, we already got our linemen. We don't really need a running back at all. We don't really need a corner at all. So I'm going to let this ride out till pick 139 and then see if I want to select someone there as well. All right, so for my next pick at 139, I am going to address the tight end room in someone who had a great combine, in Jelani Woods, former quarterback turned tight end at Virginia. He's 6'6.75, so 6'7", 259 pounds. And I mean, this dude, if you look at his RAS here, Packers love RAS, and he had a 9.97 RAS. He ran a 4.61 as a 6'7" tight end. He's pretty good in the blocking game. He's good up the middle, up the seam. This dude's a massive. So I mean, he's a big target. You can't miss him. I think he'd be great in the Packers offense. He wouldn't start obviously right away, and he wouldn't need to. But I think he would be a perfect mid-round selection for the Packers. So with this pick at 139, I am picking Jelani Woods, tight end out of Virginia. All right, so for the pick 159, I am going to address the receiver position. Now, there is Velus Jones here who stands out, ran a 4.31. He's 6 foot 190. The problem I have with Velus Jones is he'll be 25 years old before his rookie year starts. So I'm going to go even faster. Velus Jones was recorded the second fastest 40 time as a wide receiver. The receiver who ran faster than him, who I think is going to fly up boards just because of it, is TYQUAN Thornton. He's 6'2", and he's really light at 177, but he is the definition of a deep threat. 60 receptions, 10 receiving touchdowns his senior year at Baylor. I think he's an instant deep threat, like I said, and if the Packers lose MVS, which is looking that way, you plug him in and you stretch the defense. You take the top off of defense with him. It might be a little bit of a reach, but like I said, this board isn't updated as I'm doing it, so I think he'll fly up from this spot when this is updated. So with this pick, I am going TYQUAN Thornton, who ran a 4.28 40-yard dash out of Baylor. All right, so with this next pick at 170, I think I'm going to go wide receiver back-to-back. Now, someone like Bo Melton, who also ran a very fast 40, is intriguing, but since I just drafted TYQUAN Thornton, not a real need there. Bo Melton is a return specialist, but I think I would take kind of a risk here in someone like Justyn Ross. Spinal surgery in 2020. Hard to say if the Packers would even have him on their board. But regardless, Justyn Ross has a ton of talent. If he didn't have surgery in 2020, this dude's looking at a first-round draft pick, or first-round selection for him. He's very versatile, 6'3", 205. He can play outside, so TYQUAN Thornton, more of that deep threat, small receiver. And then we go right after, and we grab someone like Justyn Ross here in the 5th round, which I think would be a steal out of Clemson, 6'3", 205. So that is my pick here at pick 170. All right, so with pick 214, which I believe is our last selection here due to the trades. I don't think we have a 7th rounder. I believe I moved up in the 7th, swapped with a 6th. And I've done this the last 2 drafts where I specify trying to find special teamers in the 6th/7th round, and I believe I drafted him in my first ever mock draft. Isaiah Polamau out of USC. Could be a core special team. He's 6'4", 205. The Packers need a third safety anyways, and he could be that, a depth safety, and then also just a core special teamer, which obviously the Packers need. So with the last pick in this mock draft at 214, going Isaiah Polamau out of USC. All right, so that does it for my Green Bay Packers 7-round mock draft, version 3.0. I really like this draft. I think it hit a lot of the needs that the Packers currently have. So let's go over these picks real quick. At 28, sat where we were. Wyatt and Davis were kind of both there. Then Wyatt got selected. So then I took Jordan Davis, which is more of the run defending defensive lineman out of Georgia than Wyatt. So honestly, I like that. The Packers need a run defender. They need defensive linemen in general, honestly, anyone. But Jordan Davis is a great run defender, 6'6", 340 pounds, and a movable force down there. And then I stayed in the trenches at pick 59 here. I drafted Daniel Falele, who, again, an immovable force in the trenches, 6'8", 380. I mean, this dude is an absolute beast and a future at right tackle. I mean, you could start him at right tackle day one if you needed to. The Packers still have Billy Turner on the last year of his deal, but theoretically they could move on from him if, say, Falele, they draft a guy like Falele in the 2nd round. He could start day one, 100%. And then we traded up a couple picks in round 3 and got Drake Jackson. He was sitting there. He fell a little bit, and I think that's great value at pick 88. Again, another player that could probably start day one, but you don't need him to, and that's the beauty of it. I think the Packers will extend Preston Smith, so they'll have Preston Smith and obviously Rashawn Gary, but starting outside linebackers really only play 60 to 65% of defensive snaps, so getting rotational guys and good rotational edge rushers is very important. I liked what I saw in Tipa Nalii, but getting a guy like Drake Jackson here, who would potentially also be your future at edge across from Rashawn Gary, I think is great value here at 88. Then at 139, took Jelani Woods, who I think had a 4.6 140, and he's 6'7", 260. I mean, the fastest, I believe, one of the fastest, if not the fastest 40-yard dash times for anyone 6'7" and over in history of the NFL at the Combine. So this guy is an absolute freak as well. And I think Woods would be a great developmental tight end. Again, you don't need to start him day one, but this dude, he used to be a quarterback, moved to tight end. A lot of tight ends are like that. I think Robert Tonyan was as well, but I think he'd be great for the future at tight end for the Packers. I mean, this dude, 6'7", 260, runs a 4.61, absolute beast. And then we stayed on the whole 40 hype train, the 40-yard dash hype train, and drafted TYQUAN Thornton at 159, who just ran a 4.28 and is a day one deep threat, take the top off of defense type of guy, 6'2", 177, very light, but he's fast. So that's probably why he's so damn fast, as he's so light at 177. So TYQUAN Thornton there at 159. Then we double dipped at wide receiver at 170, getting kind of more of a risky player in JUSTYN Ross due to that spinal surgery in 2020. But this dude has so much talent. 6'3", 205, can play pretty much any wide receiver spot, and would be a great developmental guy for the Packers. And could be a future star for the Packers, even if he stays healthy. And then finally at pick 214, I picked him in my first mock draft, and that is Isaiah Pola-Mao out of USC, safety, 6'4", 205. Could be a rotational safety for the Packers, which they need, but more importantly, a core special team player, which the Packers 100% needs. That was the last pick in this mock draft 3.0. But I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. I think with this draft, it was very based around, okay, what do the Packers need? They need defensive linemen, they need offensive linemen, they need edge, tight end, wide receiver, and special teamers. And that's exactly how I drafted, and I feel like I did a good job at prioritizing certain positions. But like I said, leave your thoughts and comments down below. What players out of these do you like? Do you really like? Do you want the Packers to have? And then also, are there other players that were on the board when I was picking? You're like, oh, damn, I wish the Packers would draft that guy. Leave that down in the comments below. But that about does it for today. I'll catch you on the next one. As always, go Pack Go.